Hello and welcome to another edition of the Blue and Gold Gridiron Show, where this week, if you're looking to find exciting ways to get your studs the football, we got the man for you, the head football coach at Tishomingo County High School, Mr. Cory Quinn, on the show. Excited to have Coach. Has a variety of experience at multiple locations and has done some great things. We're excited to talk some ball with him. I saw a recent show he did with the great Coach Chip, good friend of mine and of the show, and thought this guy's going to be a wonderful guy to have on as well. And we're going to let him talk some other, he's obviously, if you watch that one, if you haven't, you should check it out. A lot of information on Buck Sweep, but today we're going to explore some other stuff. So excited to get into that, but before we do, want to take just a moment to remind everybody, the Blue and Gold Gridiron Show is brought to you by School Funder. School Funder, the only online fundraising company in America that lets you keep all of the money your team raises. Coaches would never willingly give away 20% of their wins, but they constantly give away 20% of their proceeds in fundraising when they don't have to. Call the good people at School Funder at fundr.org. That's SCHOOLFUNDR.org. And let them know the Blue and Gold Gridiron Show sent you, as it'll help the show. While you are helping the show, please, right now, hit subscribe. You're not going to get any mail from me. You're not going to get any spam. All you get is great free content from coaches all over the country. Like we've talked about before, our only goal of the program is to try to reach as many coaches as possible. We've talked about it a ton. Lots fewer new teachers entering the profession, and there's also a bit of a young coaching shortage as well. So our goal is to help that as much as possible. So many people shared and poured into me as a younger coach, and we're hoping to be able to do that as well for anybody, or if not younger, older, whatever, entering the profession. Want to try to help you as much as possible. So, Coach, like I said, excited to learn some ball from you, but before, if you could take just a moment and give us your football story, one of my favorite parts of the show.
Well, I'll talk about it a little bit in just a second, but so I played football in high school, had a really great high school football coach and a great high school football staff, but when it was done my senior year, I kind of was too. I was prepared for life after football and what that looked like. So from there I went to Ole Miss, and and my plan was to be an attorney. I'm a political science major, so I'm going through all the routes and taking the steps to to follow that pursuit, and I look up I'm in my Paul 251 class one day, which is like statistical analysis of political science methods, right? And I look at my notes, and on the right side I've drawn like inside zone stick out of trips, probably like 4 or 5 different ways like you could get to it. And on the left side is like 2 paragraphs about a qualitative comparison of, I guess a piece of legislation and who votes what and all this good stuff. So I kind of like had a moment where I looked at those 2 pieces of paper and I was like, I'm going to go with the piece of paper on the right side. Not because I didn't enjoy that side of it still, but I didn't realize there was a football itch I was still dying to scratch. So as soon as I kind of made that decision, I got in touch with some people that knew some people, and got me on at Ole Miss in the IPF. So I go over there to the football facility. I interview with the guy that's in charge of basically like the student outreach stuff and the student workers. And I just said, man, turn me loose doing anything. I'll do any job. I will cut grass. I will whatever. And he said, well, we have people that cut the grass. And if he saw me cut grass now, he still probably wouldn't want me to be the guy that cut the grass, But they put me in the recruiting department, and I got to spend a lot of time around a lot of good people, and kind of start learning didn't learn very much ball, but had a hand in the organizing of camps, and worked as much as they'd let me work, basically. And from there, I volunteered for a year at ICC, Etowah Community College. I was a tight ends coach there, and then after that, went to high school ball. Did a stint at South Panola while I was getting certified to teach, and then that was just a spring. and then went to Hernando High School for 2 years. At Hernando is really where I learned how to coach high school football. And the coach there, Will Wolf, is still one of my closest friends, and I'd call him my mentor. He basically, like, I learned how to talk to kids and build relationships, and kind of like the personal and caring side of being a football coach. Then from there, went back to the college level, Arkansas Monticello for a season, tight ends coach at the D2 level, got my master's, all that fun stuff. Then got a coordinator job, first coordinator job at Lake Cormorant High School in DeSoto County. Really enjoyed my time there with Coach Nestor, and we had 2 years, had a good playoff run. And then me and my wife kind of took a turn, and we went to go chase a new adventure. So we went to Georgia, to Alcovey High School outside of Atlanta in the town of Covington, and I was OC there for a year. And then COVID happened, and we were expecting our firstborn, so we wanted to get closer to home, and I got a head coaching opportunity at Lake County High School in Tennessee. And then after 2 years there, I'm going into my 5th year as a head coach at Tishomingo County High School.
Love it, Coach. I can appreciate the story there where you're writing stuff. I was constantly writing stuff in college classes, but I will readily admit I never got to qualitative anything in my coursework because that would have been way over my head. I'm not that bright. But anyhow, enjoyed that. Always excited to hear that. When I was watching your episode with Coach Chip, I thought it was really cool. You kind of talked about, I guess, I don't want to say changing it, but just switching up things a little bit and going from more spread type concepts to more gun tee or gun wing tee type concepts. Obviously, Kenny Simpson's made that very popular among the country. We added a few sets. I definitely wouldn't describe us as a gun tee team, but have added some elements in that. Talk to me a little bit about that process and what you think specifically makes that offense unique and gives it an advantage.
And so, Coach, like I think looking at it from a a holistic standpoint, and starting top down, like used to when defensive coordinators got on the board and started drawing, they would always draw the offense up in the I.
Formation, baby.
That's where it starts, right? 21 personnel, I formation. That's how we're going to line up, right? Well, now everybody starts at 2x2. And to me, you have to have better players, right, to be in that spread style system, along with a trigger man, a really good quarterback. You got to have some wiggle at receiver. You got to be able to find those type of kids to run this, like a spread style offense. Or if you're 11P, like I wound up being, you need a tight end H-back. You need 3 receivers now, a really good quarterback still, and a tailback. So at our school, the piece for me that's going to change every year is the trigger man. And I would do different things out in the 11P world that were good, but the RPO stuff, and the things that you have to do to not get man coverage and just get kind of beat up in man coverage, I just don't have the personnel to pull off, right? So to me, the gun tee system, focusing on running buck sweep, winning down blocks, winning with angles and speed, and then still being able to throw, when you want to or when it's there. I think it's been really good for our program, and it's given our kids a confidence and an identity. Like today, for instance, This, you talk about a proud dad moment. We're servicing the defense. We got the offense over here, and, it's just kind of walk-through phase right now in Mississippi. You can't do much else. But I'm holding up a card, and it's inside zone, out of 11 personnel, and my quarterback looks at me and goes, "Coach, why are we running European football plays?" But my kids, if it's not a down and a kick and a wrap, they think it's they're why are we running this European stuff, Coach? Let's get back to doing what we do. And I was like, that's my boy. So it's our identity.
Love that, Coach. I might have to steal that because it would definitely gap scheme over here quite a bit as well. So that is a really good stuff. But before you get into the presentation, I got one question because I've seen a lot of some of the gun tee stuff. My first question is, when we dabbled in some of those sets, you get a lot of teams kind of playing that tight end wing side pretty heavy. Mm-hmm. What would you say are your best stuff quick side in the gun tee?
So belly for us is the best thing that we do, and we don't block it like Kenny's belly. We block it like traditional wing tee belly. So if we get a 3-5, we X block it. So we're down and we short trap the 5 technique, and then we lead through. And a lot of times we run it with the quarterback. So that lead blocker's the tailback, and then we'll go pin the inside shoulder, the outside shoulder of the linebacker, and then the ball collects right into the secondary. And then we will run jet back to the quick side a good amount. We'll run counter some. But the main play that we've run that had success back to the quick side is belly and running quarterback belly. And the thing to me about it is, it's like everybody that I talk to, like I stress this so much, like your quarterback doesn't have to just be a runner, but he's got to be a willing runner. You've got to run belly with him 10 times a game if he can handle it, because if you're getting, like we get a lot of times, like you could get 4-eye shade, some kind of 4-eye 5 or 4-eye 4-5 to the strong side and a 9. I mean, you've got to be able to run back quick. I mean, it's just it's a fact of life. So we try to unload the box by formations, and then we'll also we've put in a version of Kenny's belly this offseason that we're going to like out of empty 2, so we can run his belly back quick side and run the quarterback. But we've been a very belly-heavy team the last 2 years.
Love it, Coach. Interesting stuff there. And I think you said you're going to give us a little practice planning stuff, too. And that's one of my favorite things. I've talked about this on the show too many times for those of you that listen. I could be an assistant for anybody with any offensive scheme under the sun. Don't care. Any offense, defensive scheme. If I went back to being an assistant, I could do that without a problem, and it wouldn't bother me. What would is not being in charge of the practice plan. That is something that I would have a really, really tough time giving up. So looking forward to hearing some of that stuff with you as well. But I'm going to turn it over to you and talk to us about feeding your studs, because like a lot of people have said, high school football is about getting your dudes the ball. Regardless of system, you got some dudes, you can give them the football, I think you got a chance to make some plays.
100%. And I kind of want to talk about this like it's the same segment, right? It's kind of like how we practice plan to get our studs the ball. So it kind of fits into the same idea. But I'll start with this presentation right here. Can you still see my screen?
Yes, sir.
All right, here we go. All right, so no, hold on, let me get. A lot of stuff on there, Coach. A lot of stuff on there. All right, so just, quick background on me. We talked about my journey, but this is kind of where we started. I grew up air raid, spread them and shred them. Let's throw it 55 times a game, all that fun stuff, right? Then when I moved to the college level and then came back to high school, we transitioned to more 11P power and counter with RPO. So that first head coaching job I had at Lake County, we made a trip to the semifinals my first year, and then the quarterfinals my second year. So, being a young head coach, my first head coaching job, we were averaging close to 30 points a game, had a bunch of all-state kids that we featured in the system. Life was good and football was figured out, which, coaches, neither of those things, that could not be further from the truth, right? As soon as you think you have this game figured out, it will find a way to humble you and humble you quickly. So we made the move to Tishomingo County High School. It is around the corner from where I'm from. It was a really good transition for me and my family. Get my kids back closer to my grandparents and my mom and my sister and her and my brother-in-law. So it was good to be back home. But we took over a reclamation project. So the first year, so they went 1-9 the year before I got there. And the first year we finished 2-8, which, as I told everybody, we doubled the win total. But we were in the games where the talent was close, we moved the ball and we scored. In games where the talent was, there was a little bit of a cliff, we did not, and we didn't move it at all. And then the second year we started 2-0 and then lost 8 straight. There were some injuries in there, little short-staffed. I was running the offense and the defense at the time. But nonetheless, you look up after 2 years as a job coach, you're 4-16, you don't feel good about it. We needed to do something to move the needle, and that change came in the form of our commitment to the gun T system. I don't know why it keeps going there. All right, so then 24, 2025, this is kind of, where we really turned the corner as a program. So in 2 seasons, we delivered the first winning season at TC since 2007 and the first playoff appearance since 2008, along with we broke 25 on-the-field school records. This past year we didn't win as many as we wanted to, but we won the right one and we made the playoffs. The year before, we had a winning season and we did not win the one that we needed to make it to the playoffs. So kind of how that works here in Mississippi. Last year's schedule was really tough, but our offense, we had a lot of success in our system. So here's kind of the beauty.
Can I ask you one quick question? Because I'm always interested in that. I apologize for interrupting you there.
All good.
I'm always interested in how different states do the playoff stuff, because I know there's a lot of states where it really doesn't mean anything until the region or district or whatever games. And in Arizona, power points determine how you make the playoffs. There are teams in 4A that won their region that don't make the playoffs because their region is not quite as good.
Right.
There's teams that are the 4th place team in their region that are highly seeded because it's all based on power points, which is really heavy on strength of schedule. So how do you go about determining playoff teams in Mississippi?
So nothing you do outside of region play matters one bit. You can be like us and win one out-of-region game and then win a region game and make it to the playoffs. So they take 4. We got 5-team regions, and you take the top 4. So it's if you're like us this year, the teams that beat us, our opponents that beat us finished 60-17. So, if we would have gone undefeated, they would have finished 52-25. But nothing that you do outside of region play matters for the playoffs. It's all about once you get into region play.
So, quick head coaching question. I don't mean to sidetrack here, but because when we make our schedule, since every game counts and strength of schedule is weighted so heavily, I want to play really good teams in non-league because honestly, losing to a great team helps you more than beating a poor team.
Right.
In Arizona. So what kind of is your non-league games? So what is your thinking there?
Well, so for us, we've got a couple local rivalries that we're kind of locked into. We've got a county rivalry that's a really big deal that we're always going to play. We've got another team that's right down the road that's kind of been a similar historical program to TC that we're going to play. And then from there, it's just kind of like trying to find some games that we're not traveling hours away. And high school football too, man, even with a 2-year cycle, the talent levels are real volatile for teams. Like some teams may be real up and then real down. So what I always try to do, like scheduling for us, is I'm trying to find games that are going to drag us into the deep water and be competitive late. That way, when we get to region play, we've been battle tested and battle hardened. So, and two, and it's a fine line here too, because we're trying to get used to winning. So being able to schedule to where you're not playing teams that are really bad 4 or 5 weeks in a row and thinking that you're really good when you're not. But on the other hand too, not playing 5 world beaters and then getting beat and then losing confidence when it's time to play your best. So the thing that I'm trying to do is find games we're not traveling a long way for, and games that I think that the Braves can be competitive in. And, sometimes, it's to give us a look, too, for teams we're going to play similarly in region if they're, if that team is running some similar stuff to something we're going to see later down the road, too.
Love it, Coach. Sorry to sidetrack you there, but I always find that stuff interesting.
Good, yeah, man, absolutely. So we'll get to what I think is the beauty of this system. So like in 2024, I had a dominant piece at X receiver. He had over 1,000 yards receiving. Teams have to commit to stop at buck sweep. So that gave us plenty of opportunities to throw one-on-one. So when I came up in the spread world, Coach, that's the whole thing everybody said, right? It's like, oh, we just got to get so-and-so one-on-one in space, so-and-so one-on-one in space. Well, by constricting the formation and making you defend so many run gaps, you don't really have a whole lot of opportunities to double cover anybody or, like get in these, build these triangles around receivers to where the safety could still come off the roof and play the run and be help on the slant and be help on the post and the backer could fly under, right? We're going to make you commit enough numbers to stop buck sweep. I'm going to get true one-on-ones. All right, so, and then in 2025, we graduated that piece at X. But our O-line was more dominant and more confident in what we were doing. So as a team, we ran for 2,400 yards last year. And I feel like the system is very flexible. The only constraint on this system is your creativity. So you don't have to, my whole point in this presentation is you don't have to be spread to spread the fun. We still take an air raid approach to balance. Like Coach Leach said, we're not 50-50 run pass because that's not really balance. But we distribute the ball to our skill positions and we try to find ways to get guys the ball. So next I'll take you guys through our weekly practice schedule and kind of talk about how we get this stuff in and where it fits in a game plan, right? Because I think the thing for me as a coach that I want to do when I talk to other coaches is I'm not really so interested in schematics as much anymore as I am in how you do stuff and how you build your practice plan and how organized you are and how you can take all this information that we get every week from a game plan and synthesize it to your kids and then put it in a way that's digestible within your scheme to be able to excel on Friday nights and let them play fast and confident. So we are a split practice format team, which means we've got to rep both offense and defense every day. I'm a big believer in that. We don't do whole O days or whole D days during game plan time during the fall. I just think that I just don't like seeing anybody on a knee thinking like, okay, it's an offensive day. I'm a defensive player. I'm taking the day off. So we do both every day. So this is kind of how we go through and we split our practice time up. So Monday's Mental Monday. All right, so depending on the time of the year, I'm sure you guys are just like us. We got JV Monday nights. We got all this stuff going on. We're 18 to 20 periods. At the beginning of the season, normally more shells. And then if our group can handle it, they're mature enough, we'll devolve into just helmets later in the year. But it's a heavy install day for us. Looks we think we will see because there are some times that I feel like D coordinators, they see, gun wing tee, they treat it like under center wing tee, and we could get anything, Coach. Like we truly could get anything. So we'll break up early on and do a 10-minute group install period. And we're not installing new plays. We are installing our plays and what our looks are. I'm talking to the quarterback through his mental process, like, hey, they're a big blah, blah, blah team. We're thinking we like this here, right? So our O-line and skill are separate. The O-line coach has got the O-lineman talking about personnel, who their best guy is up front. Are they a box team, a spill team? Do they run up field? How do we think they're going to try to stop Buck and line up to our base formations in their base defense? So the tight ends and wings will split time here. They'll spend 5 with the O-lineman and then 5 with me. And then we're going to break up and do buck pod. All right, so with buck pods, we're going to get a small group together, quarterbacks, guards, quarterback and tailback, and then we're going to run buck sweep, run buck sweep, run buck sweep. The strong tackle, the tight end, and the wing are going to work down blocks, and then the receivers, we're making our reads, we're running our key screen, and we're going to also run our steal concept, which is reading the backside B gap defender on buck sweep. That's a lot of times what we do on Mondays, is work base and then we'll work steal. And then we got a 10-minute runs versus bags period. So I'll send the receivers to go work route polish. They'll do that for 10 minutes, and then we'll do runs versus bags, and then we'll have our base runs versus base looks. And then for 5 minutes, we'll do a kickoff return. So I like to steal reps at special teams before the unit takes the field. So we're getting ready to do team offense. Guess what we do first? Kickoff return. If we're getting ready and we transition and we're doing defense, we'll go kick off, right? So I'm stealing a rep with that unit, and everybody can kind of get the feel for game management, game flow, situation, stuff like that. On top of that, my defensive coordinator gives me a hard time about it, but I never practice punt after offense. I refuse to do it. So we practice punt at like the end of practice, or we'll practice punt real quick at like the beginning of practice, if that makes sense.
Absolutely, Coach.
So we don't ever want to plan to fail. So then after that, we'll have a 15-minute team offense. We'll do our rep install to review plays versus looks. All right, so then Tuesday, Coach, we call it Turn Up Tuesday because we're getting down on Tuesdays. We're full pads. This is your bring it day, and I know that we're not unique to anybody else in the country, but, you know, that we're really trying to get this thing juiced up on Tuesdays. We'll spend 10 minutes on screens. We'll work screens, and I'll work base screens, so like our just regular, and I've got clips of that in a second, our regular screens, and then any kind of game plan thing that we really like screen-wise. We'll hit that for 10. Then we got a 5-minute perimeter period where I'm running jet sweep and jet sweep to everybody and their mama, right? And we'll have an outside backer coming up to fit it. We'll have our receivers having to work out who's number 1, who's number 2, our tailback work out who's number 3, all this stuff going as fast as we can, getting that stuff going. So during that time, the O-line's working their indie stuff. You know, every day we're striking a blow. We might be running buck sweep on the sled, all that fun stuff. So then we'll work butt pod again, same pod, same people, but we're doing RPOs today. We're doing RPOs. We're going peak, which is our tight end or wing or Z receiver, or X. We don't run it with him as much, but basically replacing the backside inside backer. And then we'll work our pops, which is just our vertical, like our fake. You know, we're faking buck, we're sending a guy vertical because a guy's getting nosy in the run box. It shouldn't be. Then we'll do another 10-minute runs versus bags period, and then we'll do 10 minutes of Skelly offensively while the O-line works any kind of blitz pickup. If they're, if they're a twist team, a stunt team on third downs, we feel like we're going to get an aggressive pass rush, kind of go polish that up. And then in Skelly, we've got a 3rd and 8 emphasis on our Skelly stuff. So that's all of our drop back game. And then we'll get 15 minutes in of Team O. So that's going to be our drive starters and our rhythm plays, our emphasis on rhythm plays. So I'll explain kind of more about what rhythm plays are. Rhythm plays to me are things that you do that you like, where you get in a motion, you get in a set, you bring a couple guys over, and it's a play that you feel really good is going to keep you on track as an offense. So we talk about we want to generate explosives, yes, but we also want to establish a rhythm for our offense too. And we want to get in our base plays with different rhythms to be able to kind of make the defense think a little bit. And then through today, we'll solidify our drive starters and what they look like. So Wednesday, No Sweat Wednesday, we went to this 2 years ago too, 10 to 14 periods, heavy special teams and situations. Wednesday is a day that we'll go trick plays, balanced, heavy, red zone goal line plan. And then we'll work a 2-minute drill during Wednesday too, so we'll get kind of a little bit of a tempo period in as well. It's been good for us, Coach. Coaches look forward to Wednesdays. The kids look forward to Wednesdays. It breaks a week up, so you still got time to go back and fix stuff on Thursday if you need to. And we're getting a chance to kind of like take a breath. We get our field work done on Wednesdays. We start our field painting stuff on Wednesdays. It's kind of a day for us to get stuff done that we need to and get the field in good shape, all that fun stuff. So then Thursday's perfect Thursday. So 18 minutes. We start out with a 10-minute red zone routes on air. So we'll go slant versus press, corner route from the slot. We'll run a post with the outside guy. We'll run a comeback. We'll run a fade, right? We'll do all that stuff versus press, versus off, understanding where our landmarks are in the red zone, just so we get reps at this, so we can feel comfortable once we get in the red zone. We get in short yardage, that we're not just banging our head against the wall and be in a situation where we're not good at throwing the ball down there. While we're doing that, O-line once again is working runs versus bags. And then after this is over, we'll get on the sideline and we'll simulate the game. So we'll start I'll either win the toss or lose the toss, and we'll start with kickoff or kickoff return. And then if it's team offense, it's the first drive. Coach, we played 10 games last year. We scored on the first drive, 8 of them. So we script for success. We feel really good about it. And then we'll do that. We'll kick an extra point. Then we'll flip-flop. Defense will go. They've got to get – normally we set it at 3. You got to get 3 3-and-outs. So we'll get 3 3-and-outs. It's about 9 plays. Go block a punt, and then we'll just keep going with the script. So we'll go script, and I'll work some shots or specials, and then we'll end the day offensively inside the 10 with short yardage and goal line. And then we'll get all of our special teams reps, and any kind of substitutions we have to make are rep during that day. And lastly, I just kind of wanted to put a Friday one out too, because I know everybody's different on this. Coach, I don't know how y'all are. Fridays, I've tried to be like cool, chill, game day coach, but that's just not me. I'm not wired that way. I'm just I guess the kids say low key. I'm real high key on game days. I'm real, I'm not doing well until kickoff. So I try to minimize the downtime and spend as much time around them as possible, because I don't want anything silly to happen. I don't want anything to take the focus off the game that night. So we play the game that night. So we players report at 1:16. They have about 10, 15 minutes to kind of get situated, shake the school day off, and then they know every day we start like we do anyway with a team meeting at 1:35. So quick team meeting, and then we're outside for a walkthrough for 15 minutes. Then we set up for pregame, pants pass out. We do equipment check. That's from 2 to 2:40. Then we have a devotional, pregame meal, and then we report to our zones after. So we've kind of all gotten back to where we're going to the locker room. But in the past, I've done 2 spots. I've done a spot for guys that want to lay down and rest. I've done a spot for guys that want to listen to music, loud, and just kind of hang out and talk and just, all that good stuff. Just, they know that, our emphasis is on focusing on the game, however you need to focus on it, but we're not going to be silly. Nothing unplanned is going on in that time. And then we'll kind of get them up, get them moving, and then we'll do a team meeting, another team meeting at 4 o'clock, and we'll kind of get everybody woke up and moving around some. And then we go actually in the weight room, coach, and we lift from 4:10 to 4:45.
Now, what do you do on road games during that?
Okay, so we just skip the lift part, and it stinks, and I hate it. But we've actually, if it's close enough, we will still get a lift in before we go. If it's not, I don't like getting the lift in and getting warm and then getting cold again and then getting warm again. So we miss out on that. But the thing that I feel like it does for us on home games, though, is it's almost kind of like getting that first lick in already. We're all in the weight room. We're the most comfortable there of any room in the school building. The whole team's together. The music's loud. We're getting a light lift in to get the blood flowing, and then we're getting ready to go play. So then we go tape and dress from 5 to 5:45, first group out 5:50. So that's kind of our practice plan for the week. And I'll talk to you guys now about our plan to feed the stud. So the first thing that we want to do, we want to find space and throw fast screens. I think if you've seen anything that I've done, you know that we love fast screens. And it's a toss play, right? You're getting a guy a ball in space right now. He's got a blocker, and, sometimes he gets 3 yards, sometimes he gets 30, but you're making the defense defend the width of the field. And it's a nice, safe throw. So then, like our openers and rhythms, we'll get in some funky formations and shifts. And then for our shots, sometimes we'll put our stud at a new spot, right, or get him in a new place, or get him a matchup that we like. And then we've got red zone throws and our short yardage plan I'll talk about. So, Coach, I'll start first with our fast screen. So this is our quads look. We just call it over. So this is blue over. So we got tight end wing over. We got buck sweep called. And all this leverage to throw this fast screen. So we're going to take it 10 times out of 10. I'm going to go ahead and full screen this now.
Sounds good.
There it is. We teach. Now, this is the air raid part, right? We teach fast and flat, slot attacking. I mean, the thing that you get proud, it makes you proud as a coach is you see this slot out here. I mean, watch him transition from speed to power. Boom! Right? We're delivering a blow on that corner, and he's blocking for his buddy. That's the stuff that makes you real proud. But we got buck sweep. We got buck sweep coming too, and you got some linemen getting out there. You know, they don't block anybody, but at least they're out there, you know. Same formation later. Second long. Look at all this cushion we're getting, Coach. Take it. We throw him upfield 5 yards. Now, this would have been 2 years ago. This has been our first year in the system. My quarterback was a little baby sophomore then. He's going to be a senior this year. He's the one that asked why we were running European football plays today. He is a dude, Coach. He is the captain of the ship for sure. But number 9 was our really good, dominant X receiver out there, and we gave him the football. However we could give him the ball, we would feed him the ball. But you think about it as a defense coach, like you've got to defend quintuplets.
This is a tough formation to line up to. Just getting aligned is tough here.
Yes, with the back coming over, it makes 5.
Yeah.
So now here's our regular red empty set. The tailback comes out to the slot. We don't get a good block right there from number 4, but the corner triggers inside. So then we get back outside. Now here's quintuplets, true quintuplets. Trips with a tight end wing right there. And we're running buck sweep, throwing the fast screen. The QB got so good at this as the year went on. I mean, look, he couldn't have handed it to him any better than this. But you're playing 4-4 cover 3. This is a tough fit.
Yeah, it is, and they got 4 guys on the side. You got 2.
Yep. It's a math problem.
Yes, it is.
So then, too, we needed the ability this year to get this ball to the slot because there are nights that we're going to get hard corner and off safety. So when we had this last year, we had our exit was so good, we didn't fool with changing the rules on this. He would just run it like jailbreak. So he would run 3 steps up, give a get-off-me shove, and then retrace and come back flat. And he would bring the corner to the slot. Here, though, we wanted to be able to throw it to the slots. He was one of our better receivers this year, and just get it to him now. So we just called it deuce. So low corner, high safety, buck deuce. Not as good of a ball, but we stress the width, and we stress the width of the defense, and we get a good play. Better ball. Holding call, my little freshman receiver out here. He jumped on his back a little bit. Got to do a better job of stop blocking. Got his hands outside of his body right there, but we see the concept. All right, now here we go. Do what, Coach?
I like the effort. He's playing hard.
I mean, yeah, I'm not going, man, Coach, to me.
I don't get as mad on effort plays. It's the
No,
mental
sir.
ones that are tough on you.
That's exactly right. I completely agree with you. I played O-line, Coach. Sometimes you're going to hold. I mean, it's just a fact of life, but you're putting your body on the line for your teammate. I'm not too mad. Then you see the playoff game, though. Look how much improvement we've made at that position doing this. Speed to power, get a piece of him, still fighting hard, right? Well, now we throw the deuce at the slot. It gets us 5 yards. That's a really good football play. All right, so now here's what I want to talk about, too, our openers and our rhythms. So we script these. I script these on Sunday and on Monday morning going into football practice that afternoon because I'm a big believer. So something I got from college football and some of the really good coordinators I've been around is the concept of drive starters, right? Getting your offense in a rhythm with a good play. Not just lining up so, like at Arkansas Monticello, we're a big 11 personnel zone lock team. So you don't want to get out on the first play and go, hey, 11, 2x2, 4-lock insert. Right? I mean, the defense is sitting, that they're coming downhill for that. They're playing that. What you want to do is run that play, but you want to give them a shift. You want to give them a motion. you want to give them a picture they haven't seen before that's going to make their kids stop and think for just a half count. Because their coach, in high school especially, on that card has shown them a certain picture with a certain play. And if his kids learn like mine do, which I'm sure they do, right? They see that picture, they see that play. They don't see, oh, well, hey, the final formation is the same picture that we saw, and then here comes this play. Does that make sense?
Absolutely.
So we want to give them something, some eye candy. We want to give them some razzle dazzle, and then run something my kids are really confident in. So here we go right here. So we've scripted this, and we've worked on this play a lot. We knew we were going to get 4-4 cover 3. So we talked about how we love running those screens. Well, now we're running buck sweep. We're just in trips, so the wing's away. Tight end makes a lock call. We'll pull, kick, pull, route. So the linemen, it doesn't matter to them or the tailback. They're running buck. Then we're running our X-missile concept right here. So we're going to pin the flat defender because his eyes are where, Coach?
Side.
His eyes are here, right? We're going to pin the flat defender. We're going to work flat to the corner. And we're going to score a touchdown on the first play. And I told them that this week. We practiced this. We threw it into the boundary. And I said, guys, I said, I'm scripting one play this week because this one's going to be a touchdown. First play of the game, to their sideline. Coach, there is nothing that make linemen run and dance like not having to snap the ball again. Like they are so excited. Does a great job of getting the whole player pinned. Wing wraps. The corner's way off. Nobody triggers till late. And then we get just a piece of him. See how the X sets this block up? That's what makes him a dude. You know, like how many kids would have just buried their face in here and then tried to run back inside or whatever? And he sets this block up, chases space right there. Gets down to tick marks. Touchdown, Braves. With 20 seconds in the ball game, we were up 6-0.
Digging all the grass fields. We only played on one last year.
Well, it's a good and a bad thing, Coach, because you got to take care of grass, you know. I mean, but it is nice, and I will say the coaches all around our area do a great job of taking care of their fields. All right, so now you come back to it a minute later. You know, like I think we get a penalty here. We're behind the sticks, or yeah, we're behind the sticks. We got a holding call. So why not just start back over? They defend it better this time, but we get 9 yards. All right, so now this is Bozo. So this past year, our wing was more of a fullback type kid, a little bit thicker bodied kid. And this kid, number 2, played wing for us last year, but he's more of a slot. So to get still our jet game going that we like so much, we just make a Bozo tag. So Bozo puts the B at Z and the Z at B. So B opposite, Z opposite. So we go blue Bozo, jet. Great rhythm, great drive starter. All right, this was the second play of the game right here. We ran buck on the first play. Because don't get it twisted. We're going to run buck sweep as many ways as we run buck sweep. Receivers do a good job of pinning and cracking.
I love the right tackle here, too. He's moving his feet. He's playing hard.
Yes, sir. And he winds up getting his torch right there at the end.
Yep.
And then the slot, I mean, can't discredit the X, too. He gets a pancake block for the tackle. Boom.
Good stuff.
That's something I hope everybody, when they, everything in football is stolen or taken or, like taking the idea and created on a little bit. But I think that's something that everybody I hope they get out of watching our tape and watching our kids play is that we play with fanatical effort. Because if we don't play that hard, we don't have a chance. So our guys take pride in it. They get after it, and they love to play football. All right, so we talked about giving a new motion or a new look. So this is scatter. So that talks to him, and him. Scatter is the B, the Y, and the tailback. They can line up, Coach, wherever they want to line up as long as they get to the final formation. So now we want to run jet. We run jet only to the quick side unless we're in yo. And this game I needed a surface to run jet sweep with. So we go the wings at tailback, the tailbacks at wing, and the Y's at slot. A little number 4 don't block nobody right there. But we just had to make one miss.
That was a heck of a move by your guy in space there.
He did a good job having a little wiggle. We run the hump like Coach Chip would love. Circle the defense. Give him a little shimmy. Corners can't tackle anyway. And away we go. So I really like this because when we run jet, we don't do it with motion with a wing, and we can cheat his split down without people catching on. All right, so now here you go again, same game. But now look, so it's scatter, so we're in a different, the tight end's in a different place. So I've set the strength. Now we've reset the strength, and now they're confused. Look, they're having to communicate now. Communication.
He's barely in. He's got back down in his stance, and you guys are coming at him.
Yes, sir. Hey, look what happened. He winds up on a knee.
Yeah.
And my quarterback loves this because it's a pass.
Easy yard.
Easy yardage, Coach. Easy yardage. Yeah, easy yardage. All right, so now here we go too. This is a big rivalry game. We won this one for the first time since 2013 and 2024. So we forced a fumble, first possession. We get down deep in their territory. Watch the movement that happens right here. They're a well-coached defense, and this is when I really like this. It's for well-coached teams. Watch this kid. So we move the tight end and the wing over, and the tailback goes away now. Look at where the safety line winds up. This game was also played in a hurricane. It was raining like out of the ground. We won in overtime, 14-7. Coach, I got a Gatorade bath and was drier after the Gatorade bath than I was at any other point that night. Now, too, same game, so we put a big unbalanced shift in for them. So this was trained. We moved the quick tackle, the tight end, and the wing. We're going to move the quick tackle and the wing. Tight end was going to take 2 steps and reset down to that other side. But see what happens? I jump off sides. All right, so that's kind of how we plan our, like our drive starters. I want to be creative. I want to give them a new look. I want to find something the quarterback's real comfortable with and run it. So tricks and shots, this is kind of our, our deal that we rep during the week. So this is our smoke play, nothing but a little vertical, but we're going to throw the ball down the field when we have a stud, just like everybody else. Now the secret sauce to me is that we want to get the ball out of the quarterback's hands ASAP. And we really love and we really stress selling to get paid. So the X receiver, head stick inside. I want to get my face mask pointed inside and then restack. Right? And then we plan to attack coverages. And I think I should have talked about that for a second too, like game plan specific deal. So we know that we're getting some form of 2 read. We got low corner, high safety. We're living in that world right here. So we're going to get a bender. The wing should have done a better job of getting an outside release. We're going to get a bender, and then we're going to be able to take the shot on the corner because the safety is going to be drained by the bender. Boom. All right, now, too, same thing. We're playing a team that when you get down tighter, they're playing a man concept. Safeties on skills, corners on outside receivers. So we'll run our smoke concept with a post tag. That'll send the wing on a vertical, right, to clear out. and get our X one-on-one. Now, like I said, 5, my quarterback's a sophomore right here, Coach. This is his first start. So the feet are a little slower than he is now. The arm is still just as great. We got that thing calibrated. He's going to have a huge senior season this year. I'm so excited to watch him play. But we got a bender right there, and then he knows, the wing even knows, he said he knows that ball's going outside of the outside receiver. Matchup, touchdown. All right, so then, too, like we're talking about our game plan type stuff, okay? This is our monster look. We'll talk more about that when we get into the heavy stuff. But you get your dude in open field, so we just got in a first down in this formation. We just kept it the same, and we just took a flyer on a go ball right here. Ill-advised, double coverage, all the things you don't want to do, but the location of the football. And you let your guy go up and be a guy.
You know that guy's a dude when they got 2 guys committed to him in that formation, too. Because, I mean, I got our guy screaming downhill in that set. I'm going, they got to be running the football here.
Right, and that's, we just run it, and we've never thrown out of it this season. So I just thought, like, hey, we're going to get a true one-on-one with the safety in the middle of the field. But
you would think.
Credit the kid, though. He did a good job of shading to that side, and they made us work for it, that's for sure. All right, so still, hey, we're in this same heavy formation. This is a year before. So let me tell you real quick, the genesis of this formation was we were playing a team in our division that's a real heavy A-B gap run stunt pressure team. And if we ran buck sweep the way that we were going to run it, where you pull the guards, we're going to get somebody's child hurt. So what we did I went back to the drawing board, and we moved our quick guard back in the backfield with a blocking back and got in heavy and used those 2 as my pullers and adjusters. So we were still running buck, power, all that stuff, just with a quarterback. It's single wing, just with a quarterback back there, a wing, and then 2 adjusters. But what happens when you do that, though? Just like I talked about earlier, I'm getting one-on-ones. Slant and go.
Ball.
I told him, I said, Peyton Manning threw a ton of wobbly balls for touchdowns.
It got to the receiver. I don't care.
It doesn't matter, right? Great location.
It got to the guy who was open.
Facts. Great ball. All right, so 2, I talked about putting your stud in a new spot. This was my O-line coach during this hurricane. He said, Coach, put Booker at slot, and we'd repped it a bunch. But we called it cash, which was just chase it slot. So we'd go cash, and we went our Philly concept, which is a option route by the wing. Outside's got a locked hitch, and then a slot fade. So shock, I guess, in the spread parlance. Look at all the rain, Coach, and look at this throw and catch.
Well, you guys have had a whole lot of pretty good-sized crowds, and you know it must be a hurricane because the crowd's a lot smaller than it has been.
Yeah, that's right. And we're winning. Like, we're about to win this ball game, beat this team for the first time in a long time. And everybody was like, I don't know if I want to stick this out. All right, so now, too, we're talking about rhythms, right? So now we're getting into score territory. So the stuff, my drive starters, Coach, I will also use sometimes in the tricks and specials category. Because they kind of are the same thing at times. If it's something I like coming off the sideline versus if I feel comfortable enough that week and the kids like it enough to be able to do it mid-game. So we just called this Aggie, so we named it after their mascot. We motioned the wing back to the backfield, and then a quick quad shift. Direct snap to the boundary. My quarterback got a holding call. Do what?
I love the numbers advantage you create there because high school DCs do not want to commit typically an extra guy to the boundary.
Never. No one moves.
And on one hand, I kind of understand it because the hashes are so wide in high school.
They are.
But you can create a lot of number situations by just doing that.
You can, and it's a situation where we hadn't done it yet, and it's later in the game, and it's like we're trying to find any way to move the ball in this sludge. But my little quarterback gets a holding penalty though somehow. I don't see it.
I don't either, but again, I like the effort. You got your quarterback out there blocking like crazy. That's good for team morale and definitely for the environment of your program, I would say.
Yes, sir, 100%. And so this trick play we stole from Missouri, so this is a Wednesday for us too. So I'm a trick play guy in the sense of I like trick plays being the dagger. You know what I mean? Like I'm not a random trick play guy. I'm not a first play after a turnover trick play guy. Hey, we're up 26-0. I'm going to try to rip your heart out. Dagger trick play guy. I'm a big believer on doing the things that you practice all the time. But we practiced this on Wednesdays. Stole it from Missouri. I saw Coach Drinkwitz talk about it, and I said, that's something we can do. Got a PI call. Beautiful. All right, so now here's another one that we scripted up this year. We knew the team we're playing was going to be a bear cover zero team. So we're in our Titan set, which is unbalanced. So we've got tackle over with a wing, slot, outside receiver, right? So this cat has the tight end in man coverage backside. Great catch.
That's good stuff, too.
All right, so red zone, short yardage, and heavy. All right, so this is blurry, pardon me, but this is our swinging gate after a touchdown. Team doesn't get lined up, then they put a linebacker on number 9. We just catch it and throw smoke for a touchdown. All right, so here's where our red zone pack and go, our red zone routes on air comes into play. Second down, that year I was a big second down throw it guy. So we're second down. I like the matchup. We're practicing. We put this ball. We're trying to get it on the back pylon. Receiver is so good at creating separation out of his route, out of his break, stacks, touchdown. And that way when we get down in the red zone, we're not having to just beat our head on the goalpost, trying to just ram power, ram buck, all that stuff, right? That we know that the landmarks have changed, the field has shrunk. And I tell our kids all the time, Coach, like our program is based on dominating the margins. Like I'm coaching stuff other people are not coaching, right? Like we are not just lining the ball up in the middle of the field and running plays. We are knowing and learning field zones. We're knowing and learning landmarks, right? And we're coaching that to the nth degree and winning with details. So this is another one. This is a set we don't even have a run, but we had an off week before we played these cats, and I felt like we needed a good high percentage short yardage play. So we worked on it. In the coach's office. They're like, "What if we get under center, play fake stretch, and just throw it in the flat, like Spider 2 Y banana?" And I was like, "Cool, let's call it Spider-Man." But in our terminology, I could make Spider-Man. We just went our black formation, which is tight end left, trips away. Bozo, so there's Bozo again. Z, B, right? It's third down and 3, crucial division game. We don't even run stretch that way. And we get it.
Love that angle, too. You can see everything.
Oh, yeah, it's great. It's great. Now, I mean, I know what should happen. You know, if you're a defensive guy watching, it's like, Well, that overhang's got. You had one for the quarterback, and you had one for the guy with the wing coming across. You know, I mean, eye candy to high school kids. Quarterback does a great job. This week when we did this, he said he felt like Aaron Rodgers. So that's always cool, you know. And good throw, good catch, first down. All right, red zone plan 2. Kind of, if you've watched my other podcasts, you know, like my kind of methodology on calling plays is if I'm in base and you're in base, I've got answers in my base to beat your base. If you get exotic to stop buck sweep, I'm going to get exotic. I'm going to give you unbalanced. I'm going to give you empty, and I'm going to get you to numbers problem. Right here, your numbers problem is that I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 vertical threats. And coach, how many deep guys they got? 1. So this for us in our terminology is brown. So tight end trips away, open puts the tailback out where a normal receiver would be, and we call buck sweep in the box, and we tag wipe hop. And my tight end, fantastic kid, love him to death, really good player for us, and I give him so much grief about getting hawked down right here, but he did score.
I was going to say, I think he got in the end zone still.
He did. He's got a 7-yard head start. I told him that's the reason I'm getting asked to come on these podcasts, is because I got him so wide open. They're like, how'd you do that with that kid? And everybody wants to know how I did it. But this, I mean, coach, it's just, you know, like we would run buck sweep for a bunch of yards. They went in at halftime and made some adjustments, and this was it. It's a 6-2. I mean, I'm a football coach, so I don't have to be a math guy. But even still, if you're playing the formation right, I could still send 5 people vertical. And in normal defensive formations, you got 4 DBs back here. So somebody that's tied to the run box is going to have to be responsible to cap a vertical. And if that's the case, then we're in good shape as an offense. Same thing here. They start cheating down, getting nosy. Part of our red zone plan, throw peek, where the wing is replacing the backside inside backer. Made a great move right there. All right, so still right here. Smoke down here, really tight red zone. Out of that same monster look. Red zone throws. All right, so now here's back to earlier. We're running power out of our short yardage. So when we practice short yardage, coach, like it's the way kind of I package this too. Like short yardage and goal line to me are the same thing, right? Like, so if it's 3rd and 1, it could be 3rd and 1 from the 5, or it could be 3rd and 1 from the 50, 3rd and 1 from your own 27. So I may get in a heavier goal line look for us, but it's the same idea, right? Because it's every 3rd and short is a goal to go situation to keep the chains moving. So I can make sure the kids understand, like, hey guys, like we're practicing these plays from the 10 and in, but I can get in it from anywhere. And this is our power play out of Monster. So it's kind of like Kenny Strong Belly. We're getting an out block here, and then we're getting 2 inserters right there with a big quarterback running downhill. He ran from
because you didn't have a puller there, correct, Coach?
Yes, sir. It's hitting fast and right downhill.
And sometimes those goal line or short yardage situations, when you pull, you get a chance for a run through, and without
correct,
it, there's no space.
Correct, Coach. I love getting extra gaps and using backfield pullers in goal line situations. You know, I mean, I don't like pulling linemen on the goal line because, like you said, everybody's got their ears pinned back, and you might get somebody with a free run.
I didn't do a good job of that last year, and that was definitely something we looked at fixing this year.
I think it's as easy as just, you know, like for us when we package this, we're still running our same run schemes, but like hey guys, look, when we're in monster, there are no pullers on up front. Your rule is on to down. You know, we're running buck sweep, and then I've got a kid the blocking back kicks, and guess what? The same kid that pulls and wraps, guess what he does? He pulls and wraps, just like he would on buck sweep. Third short again. Look at this block. This coach is one of my favorite players. He was an outside linebacker for us, and he loathed offenses. He hated offense. He hated everything to do with offense. But I told him I wanted him to be the monster back, and I wanted him to bring a defensive mentality to that side of the ball. Watch this two-leg takedown right here. Ride the wave, baby.
Heck yeah.
There's no substitute in this game for physicality and violence.
Yes, sir.
We celebrate it here. All right, so then, you know, this season we kind of expanded this heavy look for us because we're playing a team that's real fast, and they're playing, like, you know, a bunch of Bears zero, and it was just trying to find a way to get to the point of attack quicker. So we would abandon the mesh by going Q switch and then running power out of this heavy look and get downhill right now. So this is another situation where we put an extra lineman in. I moved the quick guard to the backfield on the same side. So, Coach, like, when my whole deal with our offense is, like, if somebody's drastically faster than us, I'm still running buck sweep. I'm just going to get my pull kick and pull wrap guy already on the same side. Like, that's where we're headed anyway, right? I'm going to give him a head start because I can line up my chess pieces however I want to on offense. I'll put an extra guard here that'll scoop, and then we'll put this cat in A gap right here, right? And we'll get pull kick, pull wrap, and I'll show that in just a second. Or like here, the open gap is A, so we insert right there off a quarterback switch look. And then that same monster formation, Coach, we got in earlier, we'll tag Titan with it. So we went monster blue Titan. So that put the tackle over. With a tight end, and we put the extra tight end to the backside at tackle.
Yeah, I dig the heavy package, Coach. You guys are creating a lot of gaps and doing some cool stuff there.
It's been really good to us. And then, too, like, you get in a situation like it's 4th and 1. Well, what do we throw every Thursday? We throw red zone route. We throw red zone routes on there. We work press releases. So now it's 4th and 1. They're heavy on their toes, playing run, and I've got all the confidence in the world to get my guy singled up and get him a slant ball right here. Great ball placement. But that doesn't come without reps, Coach.
Yeah, absolutely. It's in your practice plan. It's built in there.
So now here's our heavy. It's our heavy red formation. So we're in red. So there's tight end wing. And then heavy tells the quick guard he's in the backfield here. And we get the other quick guard in backside to scoop. So now we're running buck sweep out of this look with the quick guard already having a head start. Kick, wrap. Anytime your lineman's on a safety, it's probably been a pretty good football play.
And you're eliminating the backside run through with the
Correct.
Formation there.
Correct.
Really nice job by the wing, too.
He was a really good player for us, super smart, and he would always wind up attached. Here you go again. Here's heavy blue, so it's the same idea. Running buck sweep. See, we get the wall built, kick, wrap, over pursue, cut back. 5 yards against a team that's super fast, super athletic. Here it is again. And it pops. Now I got to brag on the running back, coach. He played all season with a torn ACL and MCL. And ran for 750. A dude.
Absolutely. You gotta love guys like that.
Down, down, pull kick, pull wrap. They stack fits right here, so we cut back, and we knifed them. And here's the end zone shot of that heavy red a second ago running buck sweep. Now look at my little outside receiver now, coach. Look at him. Ain't holding nobody. He's going to get him a piece. That kid is going to play college football. He's blocking out there, and he's getting every bit. That kid's getting every bit he wants out of my little 120-pound receiver.
Like you said, Coach, I love your guys' effort.
Then here, too, we just run it with a little flash fakes. This is our heavy red boss. So boss puts it back on the strong side. Flash fake it. Here's you go. There's a down. Pull kick. Pull wrap. We get a few yards. But look, I mean, they're in punt block.
Yeah.
And we still get it punctured. If we could have got our foot in the ground and chased the back of that block, might have had something really big right there. View of power right there, open A gap, we climb and find space. What I notice, I think the big thing about my guys too is we always find work. Nobody's blocking nothing. Everybody's getting a piece, everybody's getting a fit, and sometimes our effort will make up for if it's a little sloppy. So now we go Q switch again, power one more time, another 10 yards. All right, so this is my contact. That's my Twitter handle, Coach Q at Tishco, or Coach Q Tishco, and then my email is cquinn@tcsk.com or tcsk12.com. For anybody who wants to talk more, I've had a bunch of people reach out and kind of want to talk a little bit more about what we got going on, and I'm always happy to get with people and answer questions and anything like that.
Well, Coach, I absolutely really appreciate your time. I enjoyed the heck out of that. And clearly, like I said, I have somewhat semi-boycotted using the word culture. I prefer environment and experience. But clearly, you guys have a good environment there and are creating a great experience for your players because it shows up in how hard they play. And that, I think, is one of the best compliments you can get as a coach. Kudos to you guys, and I will be looking forward to following Tishomingo County this fall. So we appreciate you, and thanks a lot for being on the show, and we will see everybody next time for another edition of the Blue and Gold Gridiron Show.
Thank you, Coach. Appreciate it. Thanks for having me.